Dylan Cease is a free agent, and he's been connected to the Cubs a few times over the last year or so. He's connected again with an MLB insider saying that look for the Cubs to go in after Dylan Cease. There's a Japanese slugger that could be the Cubs' next third baseman. At least he's available. And Ethan Conrad, the Cubs' first-round pick, swinging the bat, and that's good news for the Cubs. We're going to talk about all that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, thumbs up, and let's get this show started. Good to see you guys. And as the World Series rolls on, we're just waiting for something to happen when that season ends and see how the Cubs are going to build their next roster. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel. Thank you for hanging out. And let me remind you that we have swag and we have our some winners in the bank. And if you want to win, all you got to do is hit that AveD QR code and be part of that. Pick games, NFL, the World Series, college football. We should do maybe some predictions on free agents, like are the Cubs going to sign Dylan Cease, which is today's topic. But anyway, join Mick Nation and appreciate all of you guys for being a part of what we do. All right, let's talk about the Cubs and free agent Dylan Cease. It is obvious that the Cubs are going to want to add pitching. And Bruce Levine said on his show that the Cubs would be interested in Cease. Now, remember, Cease was originally drafted by the Cubs, and he was sent to the White Sox in a trade after coming up with the Cubs a 6th-round pick in 2014. And since then, you know, he's been one of those guys that the Cubs wish they never would have given up. He's one of baseball's best pitchers. We saw him in the postseason, 65-58 record, 3.88 ERA. And the dude's a strikeout machine, right? He's got more than a strikeout per inning in his big league career. Last season, made 32 starts for the Padres, had an 8-12 record. The year before that, 33 starts for the Padres. You talk about payoff, getting him in a trade. The guy didn't miss a start, 33-32, 189 and 168 innings for Dylan Cease. So he's someone from the right-handed side, throws hard, that would fit great in the Cubs rotation. And it's interesting to hear Bruce Levine say that the Cubs would be in this mix. Now, the other thing is, what contract do you think Cease is going to get? And he's projected somewhere between 5 to 6 years, right? Anywhere from 125 to 158. Yeah, and I'm talking about millions over 6 years, maybe over 5 years. You know, I guess over 5 years, it'd be somewhere around 125 and then 158 for 6. So about $26 million a year. That's the cost of getting elite pitching. And it felt like the Cubs this year could have really used elite pitching. Obviously, Steele out, and then Horton hurt for the postseason. And then Shota kind of, fell off at the end. Would you take a Cease and not re-sign Shota? Is that something that you think the Cubs are going to do? You know, I'm really curious to see how this all breaks out. But I wasn't surprised at all to hear that in some estimation, the Cubs would be in the mix to try to get him. Now, another name that's popped up is someone that would come from Japan. Kazuma Okamoto. Did I say that right? Okamoto. Yeah, there we go. Let's just practice together. Kazuma Okamoto. And this is a Japanese slugger, Okamoto. Yeah. See, we got it. He's a guy who is posted by his team in Japan, the Giants over there. And he's a 29-year-old third first baseman type guy. He's a multiple home run champ in Japan. Now, I didn't have a great season last year because he had a collision at first base and had an arm injury. But he can hit. He hits for power. He's a 6-time All-Star and a 2-time Gold Glover. And in the Japanese league, he's a 3-time home run champion, right? So he's been a perennial great player. He's got a power. He's got a blend of power and discipline. Scouts really like him. They've anticipated him coming to America really since he was 22 years old back in 2018, right? The guy's hit 274 home runs in just over 1,000 games, and he's homered like every 16.2 plate appearances over the last 8 years, right? So he's definitely someone really interesting. You wonder what that would look like as far as a contract is concerned, what you would expect to pay. And, the Yankees are kind of the team predicted to sign him. It'd be somewhere they're saying maybe to replace Cody Bellinger, but the Cubs are going to be in this mix too. $68 million. Plus, you have to pay the team that's posting him, the Giants, to get his rights. But how would this fit with the Cubs roster? And I'm thinking, well, look, I mean, if you got a third baseman, say they would have made a trade at the deadline for Suarez, or they get him, you turn Matt Shaw into like a super utility guy. Love Shaw. It just, he's still got a ways to go before I would say, hey, he's an everyday big leaguer at a position. But, you saw it with Willie Castro, someone that Shaw might be able to emulate in some aspect. I don't know that Shaw is going to be able to play center field, but, you start working on that now. He can certainly play all the infield spots, shortstop, second, and first. And he's a very talented athlete. So maybe, you start playing him in left field, getting him work out there and see if that's something. But the Cubs could obviously, if they're going to contend with the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, two of the best, most explosive offensive teams in baseball, they're going to have to hit like they did at the beginning of the year last year. And Okamoto would be a guy that could help them there. So Okamoto, put him on your radar. He's going to be highly sought after. We saw it last year when the Cubs tried to get, and then 2 years ago, Yamamoto. They tried to get Sasaki last year. They didn't get him. They did get Shota. And they also have Seiya, so it'd be nice. I've told you guys this. I absolutely love the Japanese presence on the roster, that they are just super team players. It's bred in their culture out in Japan from the time that they're young baseball players to the time that they become pros. That that they're those guys that are basically just really, really good at the team aspect of the game. And I think that's super important. And I love the guys that they have. So it'd be interesting to see where he ends up. And then the last thing is Ethan Conrad, Cubs first round pick. We talked about him a couple of shows ago. The rehab is going well. We saw him throwing. Now we see him hitting. Conrad's rehab going great after being drafted by the Cubs and having a shoulder injury at Wake Forest last year. But you remember they drafted him as a junior out of Wake Forest, $3.5 million signing bonus. That was a little under slots, so that allowed him to go out and make plays for some other guys. Baseball America has him ranked as one of the Cubs' top prospects. And, the biggest thing for the 21-year-old is being healthy and being able to take advantage of his great bat. So video out there, him swinging the bat, 6'3", 220 pounds. And good news for the Cubs. Now, they knew when they drafted him that he would be able to recover from this. But when you actually see him out there hitting, he just looks the part. He's a big kid, has a presence. His swing, definitely one that looks like it's going to hit for a lot of power. And so, we'll keep an eye on that. But good news. So that not only is he throwing, he's also hitting now in Arizona. Now, the last thing is this award. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the Fielding Bible Award, although they did give the Cubs the Defensive Team of the Year. I don't know how you don't have Pete Crow Armstrong as the center fielder of the year. So I guess I'm just kind of looking at it going, but whatever. Congratulations to the Cubs. They were fantastic defensively. Michael Busch was great at first, maybe overlooked as a Gold Glove or a Silver Slugger contender, but he's a guy that's going to just keep on getting better, and he'll be at the forefront of those awards soon. Nico Horner's going to win a Gold Glove at second base probably. Dansby Swanson, even though he wasn't in the mix, he's another great defender. Matt Shaw was excellent over at third. Ian Happ in left field, multiple Gold Gloves. Pete Crow Armstrong in center. and then Kyle Tucker and Wright. Defense couldn't have been any better for the Cubs, and it's one of the reasons that they made such a great run. All right, guys, that does it for today's show. Appreciate it. Again, as we roll through the World Series, just kind of see what direction this Cubs team is going to go. You guys tell me, what do you think? Are the Cubs going to be willing to spend the money on a Dylan Cease? Are they going to go out there and spend that kind of cash to get someone, or is it a pipe dream for us to think that? And I guess that's kind of where I'm at on all this. But anyway, like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thank you for being part of the Cubs baseball channel. And again, hit that QR code. Join us at Avenue D. Pick the World Series winner, college and NFL football. And then also we give away weekly cash prizes and also gear. So thank you for being here. We're brought to you by our great friends in Sevierville in the Smoky Mountains. The Chicagoland area is one of the biggest places that supplies guests to the Smoky Mountains. So they want you guys to think about it for your next vacation.
When you head to the Smoky Mountains, it's only natural to visit Sevierville.
Even we had to check it out.
And we've been here our whole lives.
Experience the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm king of the world.
Even you can get a bird's eye view of the Smokies.
You're going down, Billy. Whoa.
Your Smokies start here.